Hey everyone, welcome to part 3 of my n8n Masterclass series where I take you from someone who has no clue what's going on in this low-code AI space and turn you into somebody who can actually make AI agents, speak intelligently about them, and even sell them. So if this is your first time jumping into the series, I suggest checking out parts 1 and 2 because each video builds upon the other, and we start at a very foundational level. So if you have no real technical background, you're not really sure what's going on inside of n8n, just start at the beginning. But if you're a little more advanced and you want to hop in right away, go ahead, because today what we are going to be learning about is HTTP requests. And HTTP requests are probably the most important module that you need to wrap your head around, because HTTP requests and really API calls in general are one of the most foundational tools that you really need to internalize how they work and how to apply them if you want to create robust AI agents. So let's start with diving into APIs. Now, what are APIs? Well, it stands for Application Programming Interface, and it's just a fancy way for saying this is how two programs talk to one another. So let's imagine we have two programs. Let's say we have n8n on the left and OpenAI on the right. So I'm inside n8n and I want to use OpenAI's GPT-4 to do something for me. Well, how do we do that? Well, we do it with an API call. So I send a message to OpenAI, and included in that message is my API key, which is essentially like a password saying, hey, this is who I am. This is verification of what I want, that I have billing. Please do the task for me. That is an API call. OpenAI gets your request, it verifies your key, and then it sends you that information back. That is an API in action. And anytime you are having a third-party program do something via an API, that's called an API call. Right? So that's an API call. We're calling on them. That's all that means. You're trying to contact some sort of third-party program to do something on your behalf. And the way you send that data is via an API call. And as I said before, we did that here in OpenAI. And these things we did last time in part 2, where we uploaded files to a Google Drive and where we sent a draft, that was also an API call. And the nice thing is these are actually set up very intuitively for us, right? I go inside here. I don't have to write any code. I have these boxes that I just do drop downs for, right? My resources, my operation, the email type, the subject, right? It's very, very intuitive of what information I put where. But if you were coding this, it would actually be an entire code block instead. And when I hit plus on the toolbox, you can see over here on the right, and I'll move my thing over, we have so many different third-party tools we can connect to. And when we use them, those are all using API calls as well. Now, some of them, like Wikipedia, don't even require an API key. They'll just let you freely use their resources. But most of these have a corresponding API key, like we saw with OpenAI. And luckily, most of them don't require such a laborious setup process with their credentials, like Google did in part 2. And while there is a ton of tools here, the question you should be asking yourself now is, well, what if those tool doesn't exist inside of n8n? Because you just saw, I don't know, 100 tools, 200 tools, but there's millions of programs on the web that you probably want access to and probably want their data. How do you send an API request to them if their tool doesn't exist? Great question. And the answer is an HTTP request tool. Now, backing out for a second. Like we saw here, these are all like customized, right? The Google draft, right? You got the operation, the email type, the options, the actual message, right? Very, very easy to use. Each of these modules inside of n8n has their own special tool, like Gmail, like OpenAI. Think of that as like a custom letterhead or a custom form that Google has given us. It has given n8n that says, hey, every time you want to talk to me, fill out this exact form in this way. This is the Google form, right? Super easy. And to contrast that, the HTTP request is essentially like a boilerplate generic form that we are going to send to any third party that we want to make an API call to that already doesn't have a special node inside of n8n. And because of that, understanding how HTTP requests work is extremely important, because in the grand scheme of things, most APIs will not be found inside of n8n, right? A lot of the really popular ones are like Google and all that stuff, but there's going to be a ton that aren't, and you need to understand how to navigate HTTP requests. And that's what we're going to do today. And so to demo HTTP requests today, we are going to be going to Tavily.com. Now, full disclosure, Tavily just recently got a node inside of n8n, but I think they're a really good place to practice HTTP requests for a couple reasons. One, they have really, really good documentation, so we can kind of demo what you should be looking for. They also have an API playground that I'll show you and explain what the heck that means. And lastly, Tavily is an amazing tool that we are going to use further on, so we might as well show you how to use it today. Oh, and their API is essentially free, which is also perfect. So I want you to go to Tavily.com. You're going to sign up, again, totally free, and then log in. Okay, so here we are inside of Tavily. Now, again, Tavily is essentially like Google on AI steroids. It's my favorite tool for doing any sort of research, any sort of like basic web scraping. So we're really going to get familiar with this tool. Now, right up front, what you see here is kind of like just an API usage, right? You can see how much you're using every single month. They give you 1,000 credits for free. We'll go into a little more detail what credits actually mean later. And we also have your API key right here, which they make super easy to get to. You just click it and it's copied. Now, what do we care about? Well, anytime you go to some sort of third-party website that you need to use and you need an API key and it doesn't exist inside of n8n, the first place you're going to go is the documentation, which you can find over on the left. And then you're usually going to see stuff like this, quick start, API references. So oftentimes what we want to do is we want to find the quick start or the API reference. So if we go to quick start, so first things first, understand who documentation is for. It's primarily for a technical / software developer crowd, right? So right away, you're going to see stuff like pip install Tavily - Python. You're like, I have no idea what that is. It's okay. Let me tell you what you often need to be looking for. What you're often looking for is something like this, a curl, right? And the curl is usually going to have a few things associated with it. It's usually going to have a post and then some sort of URL. And then you'll often see things like -h, -h, -d. These are headers. So -h is a header, content type, application JSON, very common. You also see this authorization, right? Bearer space, Tavily, your API key, and then the query. So right here, what you see is sort of the general outline of almost every single API request that you're going to make to, again, some sort of third-party program. One, the URL. If I jump back into n8n and I go to HTTP request, what do we see here? The URL. Also, what do we see here? We see post. What do we see here? Get. We want to change that to post. What does post mean? Post means I'm sending something to them, right? In this case, I'm going to send a request for them to do something on my behalf in this case, research something. So oftentimes when you're making an API call, the first one you're going to make is a post request, right? I need to send information to them. And then oftentimes, if you need to make another one, it'll be a get, as in a get request. I need to get my data. I need to download something. I need to get it. But if you're sending a request, it's almost always going to be post. And let me actually zoom in here so it's a little easier to see. So we have post, we have the URL. Great, we know we need that. We have headers, right? Oftentimes you will see this content type application JSON, and we see an authorization. You should always be looking for something that shows some sort of authorization, because remember, you always have to include your API key in this request so they know who you are. Do you have funds? Are you allowed to even do this? And then lastly, the query. And we'll go into this in more detail, but the query, this like -d, that's going to be what we're actually sending, right? That's the actual request with the data. Like, what do I want them to search for, right? What sort of task do I want them to do? These first three parts are essentially just like, hey, this is the address that you're sending your letter to. And all this stuff is like, hey, you know who I am. We can actually have this conversation. And then this is the actual body of the message. Again, you want to look for curl. You'll see here Python. We're not doing Python. We're not doing JavaScript. We're doing curl. And why do we want to do curl? Because let me show you something really cool. We're going to copy this. So you can just copy that. We're going to go back into our HTTP request and we're going to do import curl. We're going to paste that in there. Import. And look at that. It just filled out a bunch of stuff for us. It essentially just set up the HTTP request in the way Tavily wants the data to be given to it, right? It changed the method to post. It changed the URL to search. So that's where we're sending our request. It inputted this stuff for the headers, right? The authorization with the bearer, and then the JSON actual query. So let's actually go ahead and do this. So what we need to change is the API key, right? You'll see it put that there. Where do we get that? Go back inside Tavily, copy your API key. Don't worry, I'll delete mine after this. We're going to replace this part where it says Tavily and then paste it in there. So yours should look something like this, bear space and then the Tavily stuff. Next thing we want to change is the query, right? So this query, they just have one put in there, which is, who's messy, right? We don't want to do that. So we could put something in here every single time that says, tell me about AI agents, or better yet, we could put AI news. So if I put AI news, that means every time we ran this module, this HTTP request module, it would always do the same thing. It would send a request to Tavily to do a query, to do a search on AI news. That could be useful, but chances are I wanted to do some sort of different research every single time. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to use our favorite let the model define this parameter, which means that value is going to change based on what we tell our AI agent, right? So if I tell it, hey, search AI news, or B, tell me what's going on with the weather right now, right? It's going to send that value and it's going to fill it out automatically here. So we don't have to code anything. And last thing we're going to do is we're going to change the name. We're going to change this to Tavily search. You can do that and back out. And just like that, you did your first HTTP request module. Now, what is one more thing we need to do? Well, remember system messages, right? Remember the system message? We come in here. What do we want to do now? Well, we probably want to add the fact that we just added a new tool. So we're just going to do for Tavily tool. We'll keep it really simple. Use this tool to conduct any sort of internet research, right? And I also might think, hey, do I really need the Wikipedia one anymore? No, I'm probably going to delete that. We'll come back here. I'm going to delete my Wikipedia tool. Sorry. I'm going to save this. And so let's test this out. Let's go into our chat and let's say, can you research the latest AI news for today for me and bring back some headlines? So we should see it hit the Tavily search tool. And again, we saw it hit the OpenAI chat model. What's it doing here? It's sending an API. It's doing an API call. Same thing here for Tavily. And sweet, if we bring this up, we can see, hey, it gave us some headlines for the latest AI news in June 2024, blah, 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 blah. Now it did it in June. I probably want it for today, and I'll show you how we change things like that here in a second. But the HTTP request worked. Love it. And again, we can click inside of here and see what actually went on. We can see the query it did, latest AI news, June 2024, right? So that's the query it ended up putting here. It ended up doing latest AI news, June 2024. We could have actually changed that. And actually real quick, what we're going to do, I want you to go inside of AI agent, go to system message. We're going to say today's date time is, and then we're going to do curly bracket, and you're going to do now. So curly bracket, and then it's going to be $, and then now. All that did is we just gave our AI agent the actual date and time. So when I ask for recent AI news, next time it's probably not going to do June. But that was just to show you, latest AI news, how it filled out the value, which is cool. But the Tavily tool can do a lot more than just do a query, right? If we go into the documentation and we go back and we go to API reference, what you'll see here over on the right is you start to see all sorts of things, especially as we scroll down, like all these little things that they put in the body, right? And the body is this here, these body parameters, the query, that's what the body is. And if we go inside the documentation, you can see while we filled out the query, right? You see query here, there's actually a ton of parameters we could have put in there, right? We could have included the topic, search depth, chunks per source, max results, time range, days, include answer, raw content, domains, country. You can see how detailed we could have made this, right? We can put way more than query. We can put all sorts of things. And again, how do I know what that's supposed to look like? How do I know if those are even available to me? You're going to find that in the documentation, right? And if this ever gets confusing, what you should do is you should just copy this whole page, dump it into something like ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm trying to do this specific request with Tavily. This is what I want it to look like. How would I actually execute that? One last thing on that note, if we go into Tavily and we see over here on the left, the API playground, what you have here is you have the ability to essentially test all those different fields. Remember, we just did query, and I just showed you inside the documentation, there's actually a ton of different stuff you can put in there, like search topic, search depth, max results, include answer, raw content, blah, 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 blah. But you'll often see this term API playground used in tons of different programs. All it means is it's a place where you can test out different settings for your API requests. So if I were to do news, and I did my search depth to advanced, and I changed the max results, and I changed the time range, I could ask something again like latest AI news, send the request, and then I could compare it to what I just got. And in terms of changing those parameters, again, these tend to change from, you know, third party to third party app. But again, just take the documentation, go into ChatGPT and ask, what should that look like? In Tavily's case, it's pretty simple, right? I would just go to add parameter. And we know one of the parameters is, say, let's do time range, right? So I could do, well, let's do another one. Let's do include answer. So I'd come inside here and then I would just write what it did, include answer, right? And then the value, well, I go back to the docs. What sort of values can I put? Well, it looks like I can either do true or false. So I'll go inside here, I'll say true. And now let's do that same request again and see if we get a different sort of result. So can you research the latest AI news for today? So it did June 14th instead of July 14th. So we still have some work to do with getting the date exactly how we want it, but the answer is a little bit different. And again, you can just continue to play with these sorts of settings until you get what you want. And so that's where we are going to end part 3. Again, we didn't do a ton of stuff with our AI agent today, but I just really want to stress how important it is to understand how HTTP requests work, because this is by far the most powerful module inside of n8n, bar none. The whole point of AI agents is to be able to do things on your behalf and interact with third-party programs and third-party apps. And I guarantee you, for your particular use case, you're going to run into scenarios where whatever's in here, you know, in the default n8n list is not going to cut it. And you need to figure out what you need to do. And what you're going to do is you're going to find the website you're at, like say Tavily. You're going to look for documentation and you're going to begin your search for that curl request. And then once you get that kind of up and running, you're then going to dive deeper into the documentation and with the help of AI, figure out what sort of settings you can tune and fix so you get the outputs you want. So after all that, I hope it's a little more clear what APIs are, what HTTP requests are, and how you're able to integrate them into your AI agents. Now in part 4, we are going to dive into connecting AI agents to AI agents and essentially use this guy we've been working on as an orchestration agent that's able to control other AI agents underneath it. As always, let me know what you thought of this video down below. If you ran into any issues, if you have any suggestions for what you want to see in the next few videos. And as always, I'll see you around.